We are back on Morning Line. Thanks for joining us. You see on the screen, we're talking about the opioid epidemic. Nothing particularly new on that front, and though it's been going on for a while. Yesterday, the results that it's really reaching almost epidemic proportions here in Tennessee and in other states across the country. All-time high for the number of drug overdose deaths in the state from last year. With us this morning is Dr. David Edwards from Vanderbilt. He's a pain management expert. Nice to have you on, sir. Really appreciate it. We've got some calls. Let's take one from Joe. Joe, good morning.
Good morning, Nick.
Hey, Joe.
Good morning, Joe.
I've been listening to the doctor pretty close, and I agree with most everything he says. I think the misleading part of this is that this epidemic is people getting this opioid and getting them illegally because most doctors and most pain clinics that you go to, they keep a pretty close watch on you, and they do tests on you, urine tests and things to see, you know, if you're abusing these medications, and they give you for a certain period of time. And but there was one set up around in my neighborhood back a year or two ago. This guy out of Florida, and that was his motive for operation. I checked it out pretty closely. He would set up these clinics, not clinics really. He just set up an office space. He'd run a building, and there would be people in the morning lined up 25, 30, 40 deep, waiting for them to open up, and they were just charging a flat fee of like $100 or $150 just to write you a prescription. And this went on for a year or more.
Yeah. And
the police knew about it. They sat there and watched it, but they said they couldn't do anything about it. Now, I don't understand that, because this guy moved finally after so much people raised Cain to another neighborhood, and he worked there for a little while.
Oh, yeah. You know, it's become, Joe, almost commonplace to some degree. They come and go. He's right. I mean, and boy, people are getting rich selling these pills. And it's almost like, how can they legally be dealers doing this?
Yeah, these are called pill mills, right?
Yeah, right.
Blake Farmer and the DEA in Chattanooga are really cracking down on these types of pain management clinics. Did you know, Joe, in the state of Tennessee now, I believe at least a quarter of the pain clinics have been shut down. Those that have been identified as pill mills. And you're right, Joe, those people who are on these pain medicines legitimately and go to a legitimate pain practice, there's a lot of scrutiny, isn't there? There's a lot of pressure even on patients who need these medicines appropriately, given the attention that we're paying towards those who abuse them. Yep. Do
you build a tolerance taking these pills? If on a regular event, like a lot of drugs, you have to take a little more to get the same effect?
Right. I think it's really important for everyone to understand that every human being who takes an opioid over a long period of time is going to become tolerant.
Okay.
Your body's also going to become dependent. Now, what does that mean? Well, dependence is like taking your morning coffee. If you don't take your morning coffee, you get a little headache.
That's right.
You get a little side effect, right? But you're not going to go and divert yourself from work and go and rob a Starbucks.
Right, I don't think so. I've been there, but
that kind of aberrant behavior is called addiction. Right? So all of us can become tolerant and dependent upon these medicines. A certain proportion of us would show aberrant behavior and become addicted.
Gotcha. All right, let's go to Jessica. Hi, Jessica.
Hello.
Hi, Jessica. Go ahead.
Okay, my question is, I was on hydrocodone for a couple of years, became dependent on it. So I didn't know what I was getting myself into. I went to a methadone clinic, which kind of destroyed my life, so to speak. I'm come off of it now, but I was on it for like 11 years. I'm about 45 days out. At what point does it get better?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Thank you for calling. Yeah. Go.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah, absolutely. She's still down the line. Go ahead.
You were on methadone for how long?
11 years.
11 years. And now you're off of it for how long?
45 days. My biggest problem is when I wake up in the morning, I hurt all over. like my back. I'm just really in a lot of pain. I have a hard time making myself get out of the bed to do anything. I don't know if it's just something that I'm going to have to deal with and work through now, but I feel like maybe is there medication out there that's non-addictive that I could take that would help me?
Mm-hmm. So one thing in the medical realm, the problem with medical realm is that the science and the research doesn't progress as fast as we need it to, and so those alternative pain medicines that we really need to come off of these opioids aren't really there yet. There are a bunch of different kinds of pain medicines, as you probably know, like the nerve pain agents, the gabapentin, Lyrica, nortriptyline, these kinds of medicines that can help. But as you know, and you've probably experienced this, they're not always as fast or as effective as opioids are. Now, to your question about how you're feeling probably more sensitive now, you feel horrible in the morning now that you're off these medicines. Well, it took a long time for your body to get where it is now, and all this time the pain kind of was still there in the background. And your body, what it's doing is saying, well, I'm feeling the pain, and so we treat it with the opioids to reduce the pain. Well, now the body's saying, I can't feel as much, so I better make more pain receptors.
Okay.
So over time, you continually create more pain receptors to be able to feel. Your body's just doing that naturally. And so think about that. At some point, you're going to become really sensitive to all types of sensation.
Because she had been used to these dulling drugs all this time. So that's where she's at now. She's come off the drugs. She has all these receptors, and so she's picking up every little ache and pain.
It's been about a month now, but
that's
she's
not much
really
time.
sensitive. It's not a lot of time.
So what do you say then? Should it, with time, her body start realizing, okay, I'm getting back to normal, and it will get better?
Over time, I believe that it will. And sometimes we add those other less dangerous analgesic or pain medicines to the mix.
What aspirin? Tylenol?
Yep, those anti-inflammatories are one group. There's this other group called neuropathic pain medicines. As we mentioned, gabapentin's one of them. The old exercise and motion and mobility. A lot of people with chronic pain, they stop moving because of the pain. Well, continually moving and getting those endogenous or the internal opioids in the mix, that is very helpful over time.
So get that. Yeah, I'm just curious. So does that make sense, Jessica? I mean, do you get urges to try to go back to the pills, and you have to fight that?
At times I do. Emotionally and mentally, I'm trying to hang in there.
Yeah.
But it's hard because I guess I used it as a crutch for so long.
Sure.
And like I say, and when you talk about the movement and mobility, because when I lay down at night for a length of time and I wake up, I'm in so much pain. But when I get moving, if I can make myself get to moving, then I'm going to get much better.
I know.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's really hard just to get started, isn't it?
Exactly.
Some people
That's my hardest thing. It's hard to even get up and get moving, but I'm in so much pain that I have to. I don't know. If there's a long-term bad side effect on methadone? Could I have done something to my body? I mean, like, could it have caused other problems?
Right. We are learning that, there are many, many long-term detrimental effects to opioids, and we're just discovering some of these and what they are. It's hard to say specifically in your specific condition, but long-term opioids, we're still learning about what those effects might be.
I would just say, at least maybe, Jessica, he's helped you understand, which I found very interesting, why maybe you're feeling this way. Is 11 years a long time to be on methadone, I would think? That seems long.
That's a long time.
Why are you on methadone for 11 years? I'm just saying your body's going to adjust to it, and she's only been off it for a month. So give it some time, and I just recognize that you're going to pay a little price here through some pain, but maybe, like you said, it gets better, and it should. I guess if it doesn't, maybe a year from now, and that sounds like a long time, then maybe go back and just check in with your doctor. I don't know.
And one thing that I always prescribe to get started when you've been this long in this type of situation and you feel you're down in a hole and it's really hard to get back out, do non-impactful things. I always prescribe aquatherapy.
I was going to say, hit a pool. Yeah.
Aquatherapy, that warm water loosens up the muscles. It's another type of sensation for your body and your brain to feel.
Like a hot tub then?
Other than pain. Maybe that's a little too hot.
Oh, too hot. But aquatherapy, well, so we're, heck, the YMCA pool now is so warm. You can go in there.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
The YMCA, they do it.
Okay. Well, Jessica, best of luck with that. And she's an example of sometimes the challenges people face when they come off it. But good for her making that step. And let's go to Charlie. Hi, Charlie.
Oh, good morning, Nick.
Good morning, Charlie. What's on your mind, buddy?
Oh, I was just listening to you guys talking about people being addicted to stuff.
Yeah.
I used to take quite a bit of medicine, but I finally came off of it, and I smoked cigarettes like a chain smoker. But then all of a sudden, I'm a minister, so I was in a place in West Virginia, and a voice spoke to me and said, throw them away. So I walked to the door and threw them out the door. And he said, I'll deliver you and every one another.
I'll tell you what, you're lucky you're strong enough to do that, especially you hear people go cold turkey on cigarettes like he just said, which I understand for some people is impossible. Can you go cold turkey off of an opioid?
You can.
And you're going to get violently ill?
Should you? You would get violently ill.
Could it kill you?
No.
No, okay.
Opioid cold turkey will make you feel horrible, but it won't kill you. Cold turkey off of things that are often mixed with opioids like benzodiazepines, that will kill you. So you shouldn't do that. But that's a very good point there. The drive and the craving for opioids is over 10 times stronger than the desire and craving for food when you're hungry.
I just can't even imagine that.
Look how hard it is for us to lose weight and to diet in this society.
Yeah. If I'm hungry and you lay a pepperoni pizza in front of me, I mean, I'm like, wow. And you're saying that the desire, the craving for an opioid, if you put a pill in front of me like that, is 10 times the feeling I would have when I'm smelling that and I haven't eaten all day?
Right.
I can't even imagine that.
Can you imagine trying to get your mind off of the pain medicine?
Couldn't. It would be an obsession. And that's a great way to explain it. I'm glad I've never heard it told to me that way. It's that because I do sometimes have trouble understanding. Dude, stop it!
Right.
But you have to realize
stop eating.
Yes. And then ask yourself that question and have a little more empathy. Yes. Listen, we'll take a break on that note. When we come back, more of our conversation with Dr. Edwards. We'll take your questions. The lines are open, 737-7587 on this epidemic of opioid addiction and the growing number of deaths. We'll be back right after this.